Hello everybody, my name is Karen. I'm part of the horticulture staff here at the conservatory. Welcome to another edition of Como Live, brought to you by the Legacy Amendment. We're going to be walking through the sunken garden, looking at what happens before we actually put the flowers and plants in for our flower shows. So if you do have any questions, please write them in the comments and we'll try to answer them as we go along. And I think I just want to start by having you take a look here out over the sunken garden. So there's a lot that goes on after the planting and right before the planting of a flower show. We start by taking all the existing plants out, except for certain plants that are going to remain in the upcoming show. So in this case, we left a number of tree ferns and the lights from the holiday show. So those are really all that are left going into the next show. It looks kind of messy right now, but if you come on down here, what we've been doing now, sort of the first thing is after we get the plants out, we're going to clean up all the beds, take up all the little pieces of leaves and different parts of plants that come, that get left over. Then, as you can see, we have a couple of people working on our soil addition. So we take the soil, we fluff it up, we call it fluffing. We take a shovel, we stir it up, and then we add soil from actually to various places throughout the room where the soil has come away from the root balls of the previous plants. Everything in this room is planted for the most part directly into soil. So I just thought it might be interesting for people to see. I'm not sure how well you can see our soil mix, but our soil mix is a mix of peat and rock wool. So it's a very light, fluffy mix. It has really good water retention and a lot of air capacity with the rock wool. But you can see here that the bed is not actually that deep. It's about, I would say, 6 to 8 inches deep, and then it hits some landscape fabric and then drains out to the ground. So because it isn't very deep, we do have to add a fair amount of soil so that we can cover the root balls of all the plants that we put in. So one thing that we did this time, this is the only time of the year, aside from COVID, when we are closed in this room to the public. So it is a time when we get a lot of maintenance things done in the room. And if you take a look over to the side here, we've drained the pool, and our city painter has actually come in and repainted the upper edge all the way around this pool. It had kind of cracked and gotten old, and some of the water was actually seeping all the way through to the planter beds. So we needed to clean that up and keep that moisture from getting into the beds. Plus, it just looks really nice to have a fresh layer. So we'll let that paint dry until Sunday morning, and then we will fill it back up and get it set for a rental Sunday night. Another thing that we often work on during a show change, especially when the water level has been taken down a little bit, is maintenance on our Frischmuth statue here. The frogs there do spout water all the time when the fountain's turned on. And what happens is some of the calcium can deposit itself on the basin of the frog's lily pods there, and then we will take and actually scrape that off. It's a lot of hand detail. We take a little bamboo stick and scrape that off, buff it out, and wax it, actually. And then we wash her off, scrub her down, and polish her up as well. One big job that happens, aside from adding soil, is the pruning of the cypress trees in here. There's Jen and Ariel have been working on that the last couple days, and the ones on the sides were done with the last show change. And then now we are doing these with this show change. So it's a periodic rotation of pruning just to keep everything neat and very sort of formal. This room tends to have a formal garden look. Let's walk up here. I want to show you something, if I can, behind the scenes here. Not sure if you can see this. I want you to see if you can point the camera around the corner and look at those valves over there. What's kind of interesting about the beds in here is we have a heat system that runs underneath the planter beds to keep the soil warm. And that can be very important depending on what crop we're growing or what plant we have in here. So for example, the last show, the poinsettia is really like a warm root ball to grow well. So we turn the heat on and it runs hot water heat all the way down through the planter beds. All right, we're gonna sneak back out here. Ariel is fluffing and adding soil. You may remember her from previous show change. She's one of our designers for the flower show here. And usually we have to fill the soil up so that inner bed, the silver planter box, is full. So we have quite a bit of soil to add still here. So after all the soil is in, we'll take a rake and we'll actually smooth out all the planter beds. And in this case, because our horticulture team is divided into two groups, the other group will start on Wednesday with the actual planting in this room. So we're basically all prepping this time, and then they will plant Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, hoping to be open and finished by the end of the afternoon that day. Move over for these guys. Another thing that happens in this space, not sure if the light will be too bright, but the starlights that are hanging up here, we actually will take those down and clean the glass in those a couple times a year, plus change the light bulbs just to keep them working and nice and clean. They do get covered in dust through the year. They're actually hooked onto a wire that you can access over to the side, and it's quite a little feat to get them down actually to work on that. So we do that with the help of the city electricians. So we have the trades in here a lot. We have the masons come, and the masons will work on our steps, which do periodically have cracks and pieces that come out. So it's a big job to take care of this room, just aside from growing the plants and getting things planted. Sorry. I want to show you guys just a few of the upcoming plants with our winter flower show. This show was designed by Miguel, and what we do is we take an inventory of our plants. Not sure if that will be easy to see or not. So we know which plants we have, how many we have, where they're located in the greenhouse. This can help us with hauling everything out in an efficient way to get things set up. So then he will design, you'll see one side of the room is laid out, but it's fine because the other side is just the opposite. So it's basically the same on both sides. So he just has to draw out one. And then we get a large group of people in here, as many as we can, to try to bring the plants in and get the planting done. You can see this show will be azaleas, and they're just starting to pop into bloom. We've got cineraria and pansies. We've got some accent plants. These are heuchera that you might see out in your garden. It's a perennial. We'll have some lovely amaryllis and lilies about to pop open here. You can see that. It's very pretty. And then an interesting bulb called a Velthemia right here. You can see these buds have not quite opened yet, so these will open later in the show. So it'll be a bright show, pretty, and hopefully will be open so that people can come and see it before it's over. And that's about it for the show change. All right, you guys, thanks for joining us today. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.